is good, y'all? It's your boy Ty back here with another video. And in this video today, guys, we're going to be doing a tier list of the best small forwards in NBA 2K23 MyTEAM. Going to be ranking them from S tier, or I like to do GOAT tier, all the way down to F tier. Now, GOAT tier isn't just what S tier used to be. GOAT tier is the best of the best. So if you go back and watch the shooting guard tier list, guys, there's only 3 shooting guards that did make it to GOAT tier. And it's something I would suggest. Like, Brandon Ingram was on the shooting guard tier list. He's not going to be on the small forward tier list. Because if you're running him as small forward, I feel like you're doing something wrong, right? I feel like, something's not quite right. So just something to kind of keep in the back of your minds and to think about. We got 40 or so players to get through today, starting with Pokachevsky. Now, if you've watched my No Money Spent Squad series, do I suggest you watch it? Absolutely, man. That's probably the most entertaining series on my YouTube channel. So make sure you go watch that. You're going to see that Pokachevsky is absolutely incredible. Like, that's just the facts. If you watch the No Money Spent, or if you ask anybody that does, they're going to say, yeah, Ty knows what he's doing with Pokachevsky, because that's just the facts. Pokachevsky honestly makes me look good. And so I'm going to gas him as much as I really can, because he is absolutely incredible. B tier is basically the highest I can put him. But again, I love Poku. Al Horford is small forward. I think I've got to go B, or I got to go C tier. And again, that's not me slandering Al Horford, because most of you guys know that I absolutely love the card. I just don't think I can go any higher with him. And again, that's just my opinion. Al Horford going to be chicken the catch shoot situation. He is going to, play good defense. It just comes down to, I think there are better overall cards at that small forward position, like Alexei Pokachevsky. AK-47 Galaxy Opal, he's your definition of GOAT tier, right? I'm not going to put that many people in GOAT tier because not that many people deserve it. But if you don't think AK-47 deserves to be at that GOAT tier, I just want to have a conversation with you. Because why? Why would he not deserve that? The card does no wrong for me. Plays great defense. His release, absolutely incredible. As long as you do green with it again. I wouldn't say, it's not necessarily hard to green. I wouldn't say it's like a Danny Ferry hard to green release. It's just not necessarily the easiest release in the game to time. Really chick though in the catch and shoot, plays immaculate defense. And just as far as an overall card in my team, I don't think there's, many better. And again, you guys can say I'm being biased for AK, but I really do love the card. Bill Russell up next. He's going A tier. And I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me. A lot of people like Bill Russell over AK. And if that's you guys, that's perfectly okay. I just got to kind of clarify that. If you like Bill Russell, that's fine. I just personally don't green with Bill Russell as much as I do with AK. I think AK offensively gives me a little bit more. And so that's why I'm personally going to be higher on AK. But I do know a lot of people who like Bill Russell, a lot of people who green consistently with him. And if that's you, that's perfectly fine, man. Use Bill Russell. He's going to defend really, really solid. Going to, just do a lot for you on the basketball court. Sure, I do prefer AK. I prefer some other, small forwards in my team. But I got no problems if you want to put Bill Russell in S tier. Danny Ferry up next. The more I use Danny Ferry, the more I like him. And it's kind of crazy, right? Because when I first used Danny Ferry, I was like, I don't like this card. If you want to run him, whatever. But the more I use Danny Ferry and I'm getting used to what he's good at, the better, I've been with the card, right? His release, I do got to say, is tough to green. So if you're one of the guys in the MyTEAM community that have used Danny Ferry and you just can't get his release down, I get it, man. I understand it. A lot of people are in that same boat. So don't just feel like it's you, man. A lot of people use Danny Ferry and just don't green a ton with him. But if you do get his release down, it's quick. You can green lightlies pretty consistently. I think he's got the mellow upper, which basically everybody greens upper, or everybody greens lightlies with that. 6'10", good frame, Trey Leaner. He's got a lot going for him. Next up, Darius Miles. I think I've got to put him at C tier, and I like Darius Miles, right? Me putting Darius Miles at C tier isn't necessarily me saying that he's bad. It's just more so me saying, well, look, there's just better small forwards in my team. And you're going to kind of see a lot of that today because there's just a lot of great small forwards. Like, as far as budget small forwards are concerned, I'd suggest Darius Miles. You might have seen him even in like a squad builder because the card is good. There's just better options. Dave Cowens is one of them. And I want to show you guys Dave Cowens. Now, most people aren't going to get this card. But if you get Dave Cowens, I think we've got to talk about it. I think he's S tier, right? Because here's the deal. Him compared to Bill Russell, okay? Let's talk about it. Dave Cowens is better. I mean, I don't even think you can argue that. Sure, Bill Russell might have a few extra defensive stats. Dave Cowens has more badges. Dave Cowens has a better release. Sure, Bill Russell's longer. I'm putting Dave Cowens in GOAT tier. I won't ever get Dave Cowens because I'm not grinding collector level this year. Maybe next year is something I'm going to look at just because I think I can do it with being no money spent. And I kind of want to prove that to y'all that, you know, you don't have to spend the money on this game to get the best team in the game. So just kind of something I'm personally trying to prove. But for me specifically, man, Dave Cowens is incredible. And if you've got him, he should be playing for you. Dennis Rodman up next. I'm going D tier. And it's more so me just being biased against him. I do not like Dennis Rodman. I'm not going to rate him highly because when I've used him, he's been mediocre at best. And that's me giving him the benefit of the doubt. I don't like Dennis Rodman. You guys might, you know, like him or he might be good for you. And if that's the case, that's fine. But for me specifically, I've used the card. His release isn't great. Defensively, he's fine, but can't put him any higher. Deadlift strength up next. I like him in B tier, and I really like what I've got going with my list right now so far. I think these tiers are really specific to how good these players are, and so, you know, I just got to say, I'm not trying to be arrogant, but my list right now is pretty on point. Deadlift Shrimp, joining Poku in B tier. I prefer Poku. Some people might prefer Deadlift. Both of these cards definitely do deserve that B tier, though. Next up, guys, Rudy. Oh, this is a tough one. This is really tough. I think a base Rudy is B tier, but I really like Rudy. And so that's the tough part, man. If it was up to me, like, I might put Rudy... I don't know, man. Because I feel like if I move Rudy up, I got to move Poku up. Because as far as base Rudy compared to base Poku, I can't necessarily sit up here in front of you guys and say, well, I definitely prefer one over the other. And so that is the really tough part for me right now as I'm going through and creating this list. Is I think it is really close right now. I'm going to move Rudy to A tier. I think his release is smoother. I like his wide player model, and I've used the card for a while. Am I biased for Rudy? Yes. I'll be 100% honest with you. Some people might like Deadlift more. Some people might have success with more people. I am biased for Rudy. So I hope you guys are hearing me clearly and you guys aren't like, Ty, what? Why is Rudy in this and Deadlift in this? Look, I've said it in front of you guys. I've said it and I'm honest with you guys. I'm biased for Rudy. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Josh Smith is D tier. Like, Josh Smith isn't bad for his value because he is dirt cheap, but he is so inconsistent in my team. And it's not just me. I know a lot of other people who are just inconsistent with the card, and I'm not even blaming y'all. It's Josh Smith's fault. The card is so inconsistent, so tough to green with on that consistent basis, and that's what holds him back. If Josh Smith had a smooth jump shot, he'd be absolutely incredible. The problem is his jump shot is not even close to being smooth. It's hard to green, hard to time. It's not very quick. It's kind of a set shot. That's really what does hold him back, because outside of that jump shot, I don't have any problems with Josh Smith in general. Danny Granger up next. I'm putting him a D tier too. I don't hate Danny Granger. I think he gives you more than Josh Smith. It's just defensively. I don't even think he has any Hall of Fame badges. Why would you run him over Al Horford or Darius Miles? It just does not make sense. Jason Tatum up next. I'm going to go C tier. I thought about putting him at B tier, but I just don't think I can put him at that tier. I just don't think I can, because here's the deal. Is Jason Tatum better than Darius Miles? I don't know. I think you can make that case, but I don't think it's like, you know, easy, right? I don't think it's like, well, duh. You know what I'm saying? I think it's really close. Jason Tatum on current gen way better than he is on next gen because his leaner is horrible. And that's, again, something to kind of keep in the back of your mind. So if you are on current gen, obviously, Jason Tatum might be a little bit higher. But again, just something to keep in the back of your minds. It's different between the respective gens. MPJ up next. I'm throwing MPJ at C tier. I do not like MPJ. And that's not me saying he's bad, because he is 6'10", normal leaner. He's got some things going for him. And if you're good with him, do what you have to do. I've never been good with MPJ. I think his release is a little slow. I think it's a little baited. And for me, there's just better options in my team. I'm throwing him in C tier, and that's where he's staying. Jonathan Isaac up next. He's going A tier. I really am a fan of Jonathan Isaac. And I think he's the type of guy in Jonathan Isaac. everybody can run him and have success with him. You don't have to be like good, right? He is your typical great 3-and-D option in my team. It's that simple, right? You can use him, have success with him, and I mean, he's gonna perform for you guys. It's that simple. Gonna knock down shots, play good defense. He is exactly what you need at the small forward position. Pascal Siakam, another guy I'm throwing at C tier. And again, that's not me saying he's bad, but if a card has a flaw at this point of my team, it's gonna be known. And Pascal Siakam's release is a flaw. His release is not smooth. It's not easy to time, easy to green. It's just overall not it at this point in my team. At this stage in my team, there are guys with better, better releases, just a more overall package. Siakam's not horrible, just better options in my team. Purvis Ellison up next. He's going in GOAT tier. And these might be the only 3 in GOAT tier. I am higher on Purvis Ellison than nearly anybody else in the My Team community. So again, just kind of keep that in the back of your guys' minds. If you don't like Purvis Ellison, okay, that's fine. But I'm absolutely in love with him. So again, just kind of something to think about as we are going through things today. I love Purvis. I wish I would have got him. Sadly didn't. But the card is in GOAT tier. Jared Jeffries up next. I'm throwing him in B tier. I really rate Jared Jeffries high. He's long, he's lengthy. His release isn't necessarily the smoothest, but you can green with it. And just as far as an overall card in my team, what more can you ask for than Jared Jeffries? He's long, lengthy, can knock down shots. Again, a great 3-and-D option. And again, at the end of the day, he's free. I'm a really big supporter of Jared Jeffries. Reggie Williams, not horrible, but again, not a card I can hype up as much. I'm going to throw him at C tier. If you got him, you still can definitely use him, have some success with him. Again, I just can't be that high on the card. Ed Pickney at the top of C. The whole thing here is I think Jared Jeffries is just better. I do like both of them. I think Ed and Jared are both really solid and both really usable, but I just prefer Jared. That's why I'm throwing Ed at C tier. Torian Prince, C tier as well. TP been hoping in real life too. We need one more big TP game to get in the playoffs, but in my team, release is smooth as silk. And he's going to knock down shots for you and play decent defense. Only 6'6", that's where the card leaves maybe a little bit to be desired. But so as far as an overall card, I like TP. I've used him for quite some time and had a lot of success with him over that time. Grant Hill up next. I think at the small forward position, he's still A tier. Grant Hill is not going to get hyped up as much as some other guys, but it's not because he's bad. It's just because he's probably a little overpriced, and I'll be the first one to admit that, first one to tell you that. Card is still really good and belongs in A tier. Franz Wagner up next. Another A tier caliber player. Franz is a guy, if you know, you know. I kind of want to get him on my No Money Spent. Sadly, I got to grind my team unlimited for Sean Livingston first. But again, Franz Wagner, absolutely elite. If you get him in clutch time online, you've got one of the best and most complete small forwards in the entire game. Up next, guys, Dark Matter Giannis Antetokounmpo, top of A tier. I like Purvis more. I like Cowens more. I like AK more. Giannis is at the top of A tier. His player model is ridiculous. Defensively, he's absolutely incredible. You're not going to hear me slander Giannis. I don't love his release at all. But as far as an overall card outside of that, again, the card is absolutely incredible. Galaxy Opal Giannis, I mean, he's at the same tier, A tier. Honestly, guys, is the Dark Matter Giannis better by a little bit, but it's not by anything crazy. It's not like by a crazy amount. And so, yes, I mean, I do think the Galaxy Opal Giannis is the better value, but the Dark Matter Giannis is going to be a little better. Or the Dark Matter Giannis, yeah, it's just going to be a little better. Gus Gerard up next, and I've got to pull up Gus the Bus because honestly, when I first looked at the card, I wasn't that impressed with him. I mean, he's just mid, half range, I guess. Kevin Knox based on quick. Nah, the card is mid. I'm throwing him at C tier to be. I'm throwing him at C tier. Look, I've loved Gus Gerard cards in my team before. This Gus the Bus is just mid. He's mediocre. I'm not going to sit here and gas a card that I'm not absolutely in love with. Next up, guys, Jabari Parker. I guess I'll throw him at C tier. He's got it. I don't even know if I want to call it a smooth release. I mean, you're going to green some lightlies with it, though, in Jabari Parker. It's just like, there's just better options in my team. If you want to use the card, do what you got to do. But again, I think there are overall better options in my team. Jaden McDaniels up next. For Jaden, C tier. I mean, a great 3-and-D option. He's better than everybody at D tier, in my opinion. Is Jaden a card you're going to get and, you're just going to be like, wow, this card's moving and grooving. This card can be my primary ball handler? No. But can he be a guy you can have on the court and trust? Absolutely. And that is why Jaden McDaniels for me is C tier. James Worthy up next. I think James Worthy's A tier. I think James Worthy's A tier. Again, value-wise, it's not there, right? His value is not good. But as far as an overall card in my team, it's there. I mean, he is A tier in my opinion, although the card, isn't necessarily perfect. Only 6'9". Release could be on very quick. Not necessarily perfect. Jeremy Sohan up next, and I think I've got to go B here. I got to go B. His defense is absolutely elite in my team. And again, that's just me, in my opinion. But his defense is elite. Offensively, going to maybe leave that a little bit to be desired, but it's good enough to get you by. Wish his release was a little quicker, but card is still fantastic. Jerry Lucas is F tier. Release on normal time, and the card's not good. I'm sorry. You guys can debate a wall. Jerry Lucas is F tier. Jonathan Bender, A tier. I love Jonathan Bender. The problem is he's just outclassed by AK. Poku is nearly good as Jonathan Bender, but not quite as good. Bender's your perfect addition to A tier. Honestly, I don't like how this is going. Poku's up to A tier. Poku's up to A tier. Debate a wall. Poku's just as good as his Galaxy Opal Giannis, and in my opinion, better. Poku's A tier, A tier, A tier. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Eclipse Kawhi at this point is D tier. And I know there's going to be some Kawhi stands out there that are mad at me for saying that. But at this point, I mean, how do you even debate that? Like, let's be honest. We need a new Kawhi card with the Corey Kispert base or something like that, because the release Kawhi got this year is absolutely horrible in my team. KD up next. This KD, I guess C tier, not great. This KD, I guess A tier. I don't like KD in my team, but I'll respect him because he is a dark matter. He's going to have 30 Hall of Famers. He's 6'10", going to play good defense. It's just from an offensive perspective, I just think you can do a lot better than what this KD provides for you guys. That's just my firm opinion on it. Lamar Odom up next. I've always thought Lamar Odom was overhyped. I'm going D tier with him. Big Bron, Dark Matter, A tier. No question, no brainer. LeBron, you can still make the case, is our best small forward in my team. Do I think it's hard to make the case of him over AK? Yes, but I think somebody could make that case, and I don't think I'd argue too much against it, because let's say you are a big Bron fan or you've had a lot of success with that Corver base. Again, you can make that debate, and I think it's logical, man. I don't even think I can argue too much with it. Next up, guys, we do see Mike Bantam. The Bandman at this point, I guess, is low A tier. He's still A tier, but I think, as times went on, the Bandman's just kind of got a little bit outclassed. The Kuz base used to be something special. I just think his upper slows it down a little bit and just doesn't make it as good as it ultimately should be. OG Anunoby, Pink Diamond up next. At this stage, C tier. I mean, I like OG, but at this stage, he is C tier. Boncaro up next. I guess with Boncaro, I'll go B tier because of his wide player, amount of player, but I don't love him, though. I need you guys to know I'm throwing him at B tier, but that doesn't mean I'm in love with the card. That doesn't mean you guys should run him. I'm just throwing him there because I think as far as a pure respect standpoint, that is ultimately what he does deserve. Paul George, Dark Matter, I'm throwing him at B tier. I don't love Paul George, especially at the small forward position. The one thing Paul George gives you at the 2 is he's at least 6'9". At the small forward, 6'9" is not even anything special. You could maybe even argue C tier, and I'm not going to argue against it. If you want to argue A tier, I'll argue that because I do not think Paul George is that great for this point in my team. Just think his release is not it. Rashard Lewis, be lying to say I've used him. I'm going to go C tier with him. But again, I haven't used Rashard. So if you're having success with him, don't take my word for this one. Because again, I haven't used much of Rashard Lewis. My whole thing goes back to, has he ever been anything special in my team? And is he better than MPJ? I don't know. And so I'm putting him at that same tier. Sam Decker, for as much as I hyped him up because he does have a quick release, it's kind of hard to green. C tier ultimately. Tim Thomas, at this stage of my team, still A tier. You guys can argue me if you want. Everybody that used Tim Thomas and had success with him is still going to love Tim Thomas. He is still deserving of that A tier until somebody proves me wrong. It's that simple. If you want to argue me, you're going to have a lot of Tim Thomas stands coming at you because TT still is elite in my team. Vladimir up yet. I haven't used the card, but I'm going to go B tier because I've heard a lot of great things about him. And honestly, his stats, badges, animations look really, really solid in my team. Last but certainly not least, Zion Williamson. What do y'all think about Zion saying he's physically healthy but mentally not there? Like, I get it, but at the same time, It'd be hard as a teammate to hear somebody say they're physically ready and not out there competing with you in a win-or-go-home game. That's just my opinion on it. Zion, Galaxy, Oppo, I guess I will go see it here. So that is going to wrap it up for our small forward tier list. I want to know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Who was I too high on, too low on? Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. As always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.